Hey, today I am sharing 10 ways that you can know if you are trauma bonded to a toxic person in your life. And what is a trauma bond? That is when there's a cycle of you feeling like you really love this person and you want to stay with them, and then other days you feel like you can't do this anymore. You feel strong. You feel like it's time to leave. But then when you go to leave, there's something holding you back and you just can't force yourself to leave. This is a trauma bond. And there are 10 ways that you can know if that is the case in your relationship. I think sometimes when we're in a toxic relationship, we think, well, maybe the other person can change. Or maybe if I do this different, things will change. Maybe if I communicate better. And we have all these reasons that we just can't leave this person. So number one is that you minimize their behavior to others, or you deny it. So for example, in one of my past relationships, people brought up the fact that he treated some of the family members in an unkind way. And I would make excuses like, oh, he was just stressed that day, or he didn't really mean it that way. He really cares about you. And so I would minimize or deny that what they experienced was what they experienced, which is gaslighting. And no, I didn't mean to do that. I just was trying to people please and keep everybody calm. So number two is you defend this person. So you might make excuses like, well, the kids were really hyper that day, or, he had a really bad day at work and he just gets animated when he's stressed about work. So, you make it sound like he was justified, or she, could be a her, was justified in their behavior. Number three, there's never a resolution to any of your fights. So let's say that you bring up money and, I'll just give you an example from one of my past relationships. They would bring up money to me. You are spending too much money. You took too much out of our joint account. And, I had gotten to a place where I was really careful about the money that I took out. But I would take it out like if the kids needed something for school, or if, somebody needs new shoes, somebody needed this thing for school tomorrow, or the dish rags were worn out in that house and they needed to be replaced, for example. And this person was coming at me saying, you're spending too much money. You're not checking with me when you're spending money. And at the same time, they were taking money out of the account for their extracurricular stuff that wasn't even to do with the family. So it's like a double standard. And then, I would say things like, well, let's create a budget. Tell me how much is okay to spend. Well, when I would push a solution, the communication would shut down. Like, I don't want to do that right now. I don't have time for that, whatever it was. And it would just shut down and we would have the silent treatment for a couple days. So there really never was a resolution. Other times it was like, I can't solve that problem today, and they walk away. So you never get a resolution to the fight, and it keeps coming up over and over and over again. Number four, you keep hoping that things will finally change. You keep hoping that this person will change this one thing that's going to make life so much easier for you and everybody else in the family. Or, if they would just stop doing this, then things will get better. So you keep hoping, and they promise you that they will change. They'll say, yeah, okay, well, I'll stop doing that, or whatever it is. They make promises that things will be different. So you believe them because you want to. You want your relationship to work. The ideal thing is that they would change these harmful behaviors, and you are even willing to change some of your behaviors. But if you both can change, then things will get better. And you keep hoping that person is going to follow through with their promises, but they don't. Number 5, you don't have any deal breaker behaviors, meaning that there's nothing that you have thought out that you will not allow in your life. So yes, it's painful when they rage at you, but have you ever thought about what you can do when they're raging at you? That was one of my things. Like, he would rage and I would just go quiet to kind of minimize the effect on me. And I would just allow it over and over. It wasn't a deal breaker. I didn't ever say, until close to the end, I didn't say, I'm not going to allow you to speak to me that way anymore. I'm not going to allow you to rage at me. So there's lots of things that you can have as deal breakers. I won't allow you to use drugs or alcohol in our home. I won't allow you to make sexual advances when I don't want you to, or when I say no. I won't put up with somebody speaking to other women on the phone, without my awareness. I won't allow cheating. Whatever the behavior is that you don't want to allow in your relationship, you need to write those out and think about those. Put some thought into that. What is it about your relationship that is so painful that you don't want to allow anymore? And write it down. Write it as a reminder to yourself. Put it in your phone. Put it in a journal somewhere and look at it often. What are the things that you don't want to put up with anymore, and that will immediately end your relationship if it continues? You need to know those things. Number 6, you're always walking on eggshells. You're in a trauma bond when you are placating this other person. You're walking around on eggshells. You're going quiet. You're doing the things that they want to make them happy so you can avoid the stress and strain of them coming at you. That's a trauma bond. Number 7, you don't feel proud to be with this person. Like, yes, you love them, but you see people posting pictures on social media of their family, and they're talking about their spouse and how proud they are that they got this promotion, or how amazing they are as a father, whatever it is. But you don't feel that way about your partner. You feel embarrassed about their behavior. You feel ashamed that you are in a relationship like you're in. And that's a sign that it's a trauma bond. Number 8, friends and family have asked you to leave this person. They've encouraged you, come stay at my home, whatever. Get out of this relationship. And, you listen to what they have to say, but maybe you start avoiding them because you don't want to hear it. You know it's a problem, but you just feel like you can't leave. That's a trauma bond. And number 9, maybe you've actually even left before and then you've gone back because you got sucked back in. You believed that they were going to change. Maybe they even made some changes, but things kind of went back to what they were before. And so that's another sign of a trauma bond. You've left and you come back. The average for women leaving a toxic partner is 6 to 7 times before they actually end up leaving for good. So that's a crazy statistic, but if you're in a trauma bond, you get it, because it is really hard to leave this person. Number 10, you would be mortified if one of your children or somebody that you love was in a relationship like this, like your little sister or your brother or one of your children. If they came home with a partner that behaved the way your partner behaves, you would be devastated because you can't stand the thought of one of them being treated in this way, even though you're allowing yourself to be treated this way. So those are all signs, 10 signs that you may be in a trauma bond. Maybe all of those don't resonate, but some of them do. So what can you do to help yourself get out of this trauma bonded relationship? Well, one of the things is doing what you're doing right now is getting educated on the subject. So the more you learn about narcissism, toxic people, personality disorders, all those things, the more you're going to be able to spot it and the stronger you're going to feel because you have that knowledge. Also, self-care is huge. The more you spend time on yourself and getting to know your own intuition, spend some time in silence every day. And that can be, a few minutes meditation in the morning. It could be driving in your car home from work without the radio on. That could be taking a walk for your pet without AirPods or anything in your ears. Anytime that you can just find a little bit of silence to think to yourself, allow feelings, name those feelings, like, I feel anxious today. Thinking about going and being around this person makes me feel anxious, or that thing that they said made me feel angry. So name all your emotions. That's another way to help you break out of that trauma bond. Intuition is a really big one because your body is speaking to you at all times. You just have learned to turn that off. You don't pay attention to it anymore. So you need to go back to a place where you can listen. Are you having stomach problems? Are you getting migraines? Are you getting that heart racing, anxious feeling? I was in a meeting yesterday and I started feeling anxious. I think I was reading energy of people around me, but I just started feeling like I just had to get out of there, like I'm just crawling out of my skin. And I was able to calm myself down. I was just like taking deep breaths, telling my nervous system that I'm safe. I imagined creating a bubble around myself so that everybody else's energy could not get inside my bubble. And somebody said something in the meeting. They were talking about their feelings. And I was like, there it is. Because this person was dealing with some really traumatic feelings. And as soon as she let that out, it was like I could just feel the release. So anyways, my point is that pay attention to those feelings. They might be somebody else's. They might be your toxic partner's feelings that you're carrying, even though they don't belong to you. So the more you become aware of your own feelings, your own physical things going on with your body, the stronger you will feel. So educate, name your emotions, and sit in silence. Practice self-care. Those are the things that are going to help you get out of this trauma-bonded relationship. Also, one thing I didn't mention was if you get support from outside people, so that could be a 12-step program, that could be a counselor, it could be a coach like me, it could be, you know, a group program, which I've created. I have in my, I'll share in the links below. But, you know, when you get in with a group of other people that are going through what you're going through, then it makes you feel stronger because you have other people that have been there and they can support you along the way. So one last thing that I want to share with you is, what is a healthy relationship? We've talked about trauma bonding with a toxic person. So you need to know what a healthy relationship is so that you can look for those characteristics in other relationships around you, and also with a partner that you want to spend your life with. So a healthy relationship has mutual respect. It has trust, it has honesty, it has open communication, and solution-oriented behavior. So meaning, you know, when something comes up that you're not really comfortable with or they're not comfortable with, you're both able to talk it out and come to a resolution. And you have open communication with a real honest attempt to change problematic behavior. So I know you've gone to your toxic partner and you've said that there's something they're doing that's bothering you. And I'm sure you are faced with something like they turned it around on you, they said you were being too sensitive, or they said that you weren't being fair, or they said, well, you did this 10 years ago, whatever, but you never were able to come to a resolution. They weren't willing to take responsibility, and they weren't willing to do anything to create or to make that problem behavior better. They weren't willing to do anything to get help. And you are willing, because you are, you know, reading books and watching videos like this, and you're trying to get better, and your partner's not. So if you're in a trauma-bonded relationship, I'm really sorry. I'm here for you. I will be the one to stand by your side and hold your hand along the way. Check out my links, and you know, I offer one-on-one coaching. I have a group program. I have free resources as well. So check all those out. Don't continue living in this stressful environment. So talk to you soon.